So I am so excited because I got to hear Melissa first at leadership this last year in Arizona and Scottsdale, which if you don't have something on your goal board, leadership is definitely something you want to hear about. And I just was blown away by her story and just hearing her heart and the things that she's overcome and the accolades that she has in her business are just absolutely incredible. And so I'm really excited for you guys to hear from her tonight. She is a 4-time elite coach. She has 6 stars in her business center, 1 star in her second. She's been in Success Club, guys, over 60 months. She's a mom of 3. And all of those are like incredible and amazing and impressive. But I think when you hear her story, it's going to truly inspire you even more. So I asked her just to share from her heart. And just to kind of whatever she felt like she had, to say. And as she speaks tonight, I'd really encourage you guys to take advantage of this time with her. Type questions in the chat bar as she's going through. Don't be afraid to ask things and to truly just pick this brain of this incredible woman. And yeah, if you could please make sure as you're coming on that you're muted, that would be awesome, just so that everybody can hear. I think we're ready. Melissa, if you're ready, I would love for you to pop on. That'd be awesome too.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Well, okay, I'll just take it. Okay, perfect. Hey ladies, well, I am just so incredibly honored. Anytime that I have the ability to speak to another leaders team, and I heard that there's a couple leaders teams on this call, so I don't take that lightly. And I was driving home. I had a girls trip this weekend with 6 of my friends who are all moms, and I didn't really disconnect this week, and a part of it felt like a little bit guilty that I didn't just, turn my phone off, turn my messages off, not respond to things, but like, I get to do this and I love what I do. And like yesterday I went and drew myself a bubble bath that overlooked the ocean. Sorry, the lighting in here is awful. And I listened to a podcast, like I still did my devotional. I did all my routines. And then this morning I got up and I listened to the National Wake Up Call, and like everyone's like sitting around chatting. And I went upstairs and finished listening to it. And I was like, I wonder if they're annoyed that I'm doing this. But then I thought about this is that so many of them are going to go back to work tomorrow. And, all of us are mamas, and so many of them complained this weekend about the time that they don't get, or how they feel rushed with everything. And that, some of us, one of my girlfriends, her son just turned 14 and she only has 4 more years with her son. And I just could not help but feel this overwhelming sense of gratitude that I get to do this every single day, and that this opportunity has been given to me in this platform to connect with so many people. So thank you for letting me come on and share my story with you. Because like Abby said, there's awesome accolades on there, and I can't take credit for that. That's my team. I have an amazing team of leaders who just show up and get things done and love on people and grow. So I am the leader that leads that team, but I have to give so much credit to my team because the work we do is together. And one of the things that I hope that you'll hear tonight is that the more that you love on people, you can leave them better than you found them. And if it wasn't for my coach sharing this opportunity, openly and candidly, and me watching for 13 months on the sidelines, like my life would look completely different. And I grew up feeling very, very unworthy. I grew up without any direction or really any plan for my life. My dad was an alcoholic. He's been sober for almost 13 years, praise God. And my mom was an addict my entire life. I bounced around from family members, and when you deal with trauma at such a young age, it plants a seed of unworthiness and not being enough. And so from from childhood, I just didn't think that I was good enough or that people loved me. And so as I grew into a teenager, I fell into addiction, and I fell with the wrong crowd and just made a lot of really not good choices. Nobody ever talked to me about self-love or taking care of your body. I didn't have anyone in my life besides my aunt, who I lived with her temporarily from like 5 to 6. But she did Weight Watchers, and I remember like she always had her big Weight Watchers cup, and she was drinking water, and she was always talking about her weight. It wasn't ever anything healthy. And from probably 15 until 22, I abused my body really bad with drugs and alcohol and diet pills and quick fix fads. So like when I say I came into this business with no knowledge of how to take care of myself, I'm telling you, I had no knowledge. I had no role models. I had no anything, but I didn't know how to work hard. Because one thing I learned from my dad was that nobody owes you anything, and that if you want anything in this life, you have to go out and create that. So, long story short, I beat addiction by the grace of God. I met my husband, and I remember hearing Lindsay Matway at my first summit ever, and hearing her say that her and her husband had met, and 3 months later they had gotten pregnant. And I was like, oh my God, someone like me. Like, I can go out and share my story now because I don't have to feel like I did it all wrong, right? Because I carried so much shame around who I wasn't, instead of embracing who I was and taking my mess and turning it into a message to serve other people. And that's what this platform's given to me. So I met my husband. We got pregnant really early, and I went to work. Like, I was like, basically closed the door on what my life was, and I was going to reinvent myself. And I started climbing the corporate ladder. We had my second son 2 years later. Life felt really good, but I was literally drowning in work. And my marriage hit a really, really rough spot at 4 years. And I was ready to throw in the towel. I didn't feel worthy of the love that I was getting. I felt like I got more joy out of being at work than I did with my family. And I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but when you have 2 toddlers at home and you are at work where you're getting this praise and these, affirmations where people are telling you you're doing a good job, and then you come home and there's a sink full of dishes and people who need you, and you and your spouse start fighting about bills, and things that you thought would be a reality aren't meeting your expectations, and you're tired, right? Like, I just remember feeling tired, and I needed more. And my husband and I came out of that really hard season, but it wasn't easy. But I will say, I didn't understand this then, but I look back now and I can just see where I've been blessed so much, and where God really carried me through and gave me this platform, because he planted my coach in my newsfeed. I didn't know what Beachbody was, but I did know about Insanity, and I had purchased the DVDs off an infomercial. And I think at the end of one of the videos, it said, sign up for your free coach on Beachbody. And so I did. And it gave me access to the website, all of that stuff. But nobody ever reached out to me. And I have no idea how my coach showed up in my timeline, because we had no mutual friends. Am I frozen? You guys are frozen on my end.
It says you're mad.
Hold on, let me see.
I can hear you. You're frozen, but I can hear you. Or not so much now. Oh no, you gotta love technology. It says that your bandwidth, so maybe try.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep. I can hear you. And she might be gone. Hopefully she'll pop back on here. Sorry, my 2-year-old yelling in the background here. I think she's in somewhere that, let's see here. Sorry, guys. Frozen? Okay. She'll be back, so just hang tight. I know that she's gonna come back in 1 second here. And I think you guys are getting a tiny taste, though, of just how incredible her story is here. and just, you're going to hear some more of it, which is really, really awesome. Let's see here. I'm going to see if she just messaged me really quick. And if you guys can think of questions for her or anything like that while we're going, or if there's anything you guys want to chat about, we can do that as well. We have a whole bunch of leaders on the call. Gotta love how technology works. I guess while we're just hanging here, do you guys have any questions or things on like invites or Team Cup, or I don't know, I know there's like Kendra, and I'm like looking at also on here, Anita, Katie, like we got a whole bunch of other leaders on this call too. I don't know if there's anything you guys want to say while we're waiting for her to pop back on, that would be helpful for your teams to chat through.
I mean, I just love what she said. Like, she stopped watching other people, thinking about what she wasn't, and began to embrace what she was and what her life was. I think that is so powerful. And so often we are so critical of ourselves, and we look to other people thinking we're supposed to be like them. And the reality is, it's all about who we are and sharing that with others and using that to serve others. And I just thought that was awesome.
Your message, your message. Let's see. Melissa, I see you back on here. Are you good?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes.
That was super weird. Can you hear me? Okay, will you send me the phone number just in case, and I'll dial in if necessary?
Yeah, I will message it to you on Facebook. Let me go in and I'll find it,
like,
Messenger.
Just in case. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so what I was saying was, all of a sudden this woman just started showing up in my newsfeed, and I didn't know any Beachbody coaches, but she like was sharing her story really, really boldly. And she was super authentic, and like, I didn't know anyone who was talking about the things she was talking about on social media, unless they were like a blogger or like, I don't know, one of those like scary mom posts where you like nail on the head. Like, I felt like every single post that she was sharing was like conviction to my heart. And I watched silently for 13 months. And because I started following her, I also started following my upline, which is Christina Delgado and Becky Brose. So Diesel Nation, I don't know if you guys know who they are, but I saw these 3 powerhouse moms who were just like authentically sharing their truth, and they were having a whole lot of fun. And my life didn't feel very fun at that time. But what I also saw was that they were like little party girls. And like at that time I was still drinking and like wanted to drink. I wanted to be able to lose weight and drink and like have fun. But I was not convinced that I could do this because, again, I didn't dream big. I was comfortable in my corporate career. Like, I was driving 3.5 hours round trip and putting my kids in daycare 40 plus hours a week. And that's what I thought I was like fulfilled doing. I had 14 people who directly reported to me. Like, I was burnt out to the core. And so it was like the seed was planted that I could lose weight, have fun, maybe build this side business, and like just be a healthier, happy version of myself and start working on my internal crap. Because when I signed up, guys, I'll be honest, I only wanted to lose weight. That was my only expectation, and to get 25% off my shake, because I was like, my husband is not gonna freaking let me pay $130 for this overpriced shake. Like, I just didn't understand it. Mind you, I'd tried every quick fix under the sun. Like, if you walked into GNC and looked at diet pills, like, I'd probably tried all of them. I'd done the cabbage soup diet. But what I realized as soon as I got started was that I needed this community. And what I just told you, I just went away with 6 of my girlfriends for the weekend. I should also tell you, I've always had really, really, really amazing friends in my life. Like, I've never lacked for friends. I feel like what I lacked in family made up in friendships, and my friends have always been like family to me. but I didn't have what this community had. And it was like a sisterhood that was encouraging and supportive, and it wasn't catty, and it wasn't like you'd leave the room and wonder what people are saying about you. And that wasn't something I was used to. So after 13 months, I made a decision that I was going to do it. And in the first 10 days of the 21-day fix, I was down like 7 pounds. And to me, like, that was mind blowing. I was like, and my energy was up. It was like my confidence had shifted. So I was all in. And all I did was I just started sharing my story on Facebook. I didn't have an Instagram. I actually didn't even start really using my Instagram until this year for business reasons. But I just started sharing like authentically. And if there was ever a time where somebody asked me like, hey, can you speak on a call? Like, I would have chickened out. I would have been so terrified and talked myself. Am I frozen again?
I can hear you. Yeah, I just can't see you. But if you keep talking, I think you're good.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Cool. Just put in the chat if you can't hear it. So I just leaned in and I did the things that I saw successful coaches doing. And so what I hope that you guys understand, I don't know where everyone's at in their business, is that there's nothing that has happened in your life or that you've done or anything that you've quote unquote disqualified yourself from that can't help you be successful in this business. Because I came into this broken, I came into it desperate, I came into it with zero experience. I came into it 60 pounds heavier. I came into it with limiting beliefs and doubts and fears. And all you have to do is recognize what story it is that you're telling yourself and go change that. Like, I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and I don't know if any of you guys listen to Trent Shelton, but he was saying like how legendary people are created. He's like, they're just people who make a decision to go for it and don't stop. And I'm like, yeah, like, it's totally freaking true. Like, the top coaches in this business, like Ashley Molstead didn't become the 2-time top coach, or Melanie Mitchell didn't become the 3-4-time top coach because Carl Deichler sprinkled something on them and said, hey, you look like a great person. We're going to blow up your social media. We're going to, give you all these special things and you're going to be our next top coach. No, they put in the work and they showed up. They tried things and they failed, and they did it over and over and over and over and over again. They recruited. They led with their heart. They spoke their truth, even if their voice was shaking. So don't look at the elite coaches or the premier coaches or the top 10 coaches or even the Beachbody challengers and say, I wish I could do what they do, because you absolutely can. And I think once you get control of your mindset and you understand that you have what it takes and that you're already qualified and you just step into that power, everything can change. I say my tagline is, I started this business to lose weight, and along the way I gained life. And that's so dang true, because guys, like, I wouldn't have the life that I have today without this business. Like, I've done so much healing and overcoming in the past 6 years that, like, I feel like if I could bottle that up and give it to people, like, here's a pill for that, everyone would want a piece of it, because there's not a price tag that you can put on self-confidence or freedom or just even being able to, like, speak your authentic truth. And I don't care if you grew up in the biggest, most beautiful house with a white picket fence and you never had any issues, or if you have, a past like me where you struggled with addiction, or your mom was on welfare and you bounced from family member to family member. I didn't even graduate from high school, you guys, because I was deep in my addiction at that time. And I was 18 and I walked in and I signed myself up because I thought I was grown and I thought I knew what I was doing. One of the biggest regrets, did I go back and get my GED? Absolutely. But still, like, my success isn't determined on the mistakes that I made. And whatever shame or guilt that you're carrying around, whether it's being a wife or being a mom or being a sister or being a business owner or whatever it is, like, I want to help you free that tonight, because the only thing holding you back is you. And you just have to make a decision to draw a line in the sand and get started and showing up every single day. Like, I came home from girls weekend and I'm like, I got to get back. I'm going to like dive into to be hard. Why? Because I've been eating all the things and I've been living a life of balance, which is what I really want. I didn't ever sign up because I wanted a six pack or I wanted to, you know, be a physique competitor, anything like that. And I'm not shaming anyone. That's just never been my agenda. But I know that there's a sweet spot where I feel really good. But I also know that I can go on girls' trips and I can have cupcakes and I can eat pasta and, you know, drink all the sparkling waters, all the things that I want. And I always have a plan to jump back in. Like, I really think that this opportunity will be the solution for all of your needs. Have marriage problems, you need Beachbody. Have a weight issue, you need Beachbody. Have confidence issues, you need Beachbody. Struggling financially, you need Beachbody. Like when people say, I'm gonna pull away, like, I'm like, why? Why are you going to pull away? Like, it's crazy to me that you would step back from this because it's the very thing that could transform everything in your life. And you are too afraid, or you're letting those doubts and fears and those limiting beliefs hold you back and not thinking that you're worthy enough of doing the thing that you're called to do. Because I don't think that there's any mistakes in this life. I think that if you're on this call tonight or you're listening to the playback later, there's a reason for it. And you said yes to your coach for a reason. And there's somebody out there who's probably facing the same exact struggles that you had in your life, and you hold the keys to helping them break those chains. But if you're not bold and you're not willing to do that, it's just selfish, guys. Like, it's so selfish. I hate when people quit. I do. Because and especially like what makes me really, like, it pains my heart is when people get other people started and then they quit. Like, you're not only giving up on yourself, but you're also giving up on these other people. So I would encourage you guys to build a relationship with your downline. That is one of the most important things that you can do in this business, is build relationships with people. Like, it's not hard. This business is so dang simple. All you have to do is love on people. Get to know them, get to know their desires, their needs, what makes them happy, what makes them tips. You don't have to get together for lunch every week or do all those things. But if you can say, hey, how are you doing? How can I support you? I promise you, it will make a huge difference. And sometimes if you're struggling and you just reach out and you say, hey, sister, like, I'm struggling too. I really could use you to lean in and help me through this so we can walk together and we can come out of it on the other side, like holding hands and helping other people do the same. Like, how much better would you feel? Like, just think about the opportunity that you have at your fingertips. Think about where you want to go. And if you don't have a vision for your life, it's time to get very clear on what that looks like. And I know, especially if you're a newer coach who's never done anything like this before, it probably is really uncomfortable to think about those things and to dream big. Because like I told you at the beginning of this call, I didn't set goals. I didn't feel worthy of doing those things. But now it's like, I feel like I owe it to my children to live the legacy that I want to leave for them. Nope, I'm on a call, babe. Nope, I'm on a call. Love you. Because I don't know, like, this is the foundation. This is my plan A, B, and C. You have to figure out what you want, because if you're asking people to get on your train and you don't know where it's going, nobody's going to want to get on. And what I tell my team all the time is that if you have to get off the train and take your bags with you and stand at the train station, you're always welcome to get back on, because my train is always coming and I will love you where you are. And I'm not one of those coaches who like takes people out of groups because they're not active. I'm not one of those people who says like, you have to be on Shakeology HD or, the performance line, because I know that life happens, right? I don't do that because, they're not just a bag of Shakeology or Success Club point or volume points. They're my friends, and I want them to know that I'm always going to be here for them. However, I can't get off with you. Like, I have to keep going because this business is important to me, and there's somebody else waiting for me to pick them up. And it's my responsibility to keep growing and keep moving forward. And I don't know what you came to this call with, but maybe you came and you feel like, I just don't know how to get my business off the ground. You have to start. It is the start that stops most people. Like, you have to just get started. Tomorrow morning, press play on your workout. I don't know where you guys are, but I'm in California. There's still time to press play. There's still time to do gratitude journaling. There's still time to write out a vision. There's still time to set goals for the last 15 days of the month, or however many days we have left. Like, you have to get very clear, and you can't wait for Abby or your coach to get you started, or to host a team call, or to get you motivated. You can't wait till summit. You can't wait till next year's Success Club trip. Like, you have to do the work now if you want change, because we all start over in the month of March at 0 again. And I hope that everyone on this call signed up for a team cup, and just think about the commitment that you made and how excited you guys all were at the beginning of the month to like get fired up and earn those points and, you know, help people, maybe earn some prizes. So don't give up now just because you're sitting at Success Club 0. Or if you're already at Success Club 10, don't wait until next month to keep going. So I'm not going off script. I don't have anything in front of me, so I kind of feel a little bit all over the place. But if you guys have questions, I'm 100% open book in anything that you might have. I feel like I'm frozen again though.
Could you, just because I heard you talk at leadership a little bit about your story, could you talk about kind of maybe however comfortable you feel going into it, just some of the obstacles you faced and how you have, like, you hit Success Club through all of that. You've been an elite team through all of that and like shown up. Like, does that make sense? Sorry,
Yeah.
in the background for me.
Yeah, no, totally. So I guess I kind of skipped over some pretty big hurdles that I faced in this business, or that have happened to me while I've been building this business. So 3 months into my journey, I got pregnant with my third child, and that was completely unexpected. I was on the IUD, like, we were not supposed to get pregnant. And I was like really nervous, like, how am I going to build this business where we're supposed to be teaching people, you know, to tackle their weight loss, and here I'm losing weight. Thankfully, I trusted my gut and I leaned in and I didn't pull away, because to me, this business isn't a weight loss business, it's a health business. And my mission is helping people transform and get healthy from the inside out. So long story short, had the best pregnancy I ever did, continued to share my story, continued, like, literally, I think getting pregnant and having my daughter, like, built this business. People loved hearing about my pregnancy, my daughter, all the things. But 6 months after my pregnancy, on my journey of postpartum, I woke up one morning and I couldn't get out of bed. Abby, let me know if you can hear me, because everyone's frozen on my end.
You're good. I can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So 6 months after I had my daughter, I woke up in the morning and I could not get up. And a couple days prior to that, I had noticed some stiffness in my knee. I was doing the 21-day fix after, you know, I had her, and I started running a little bit again while my son was playing football at the track. I was doing 5 a.m. boot camps with a girlfriend. So, like, it wasn't like I was doing a ton extra, but like something was going on with my knee. And I went into the doctor, just, you know, complaining of the swelling. And they said, you're good. Like, you tore your meniscus. You're going to have to do physical therapy. 2 days later, I couldn't walk. Like, and when I say I couldn't walk, like, I couldn't get out of bed. I could not get to the toilet. I literally had to crawl from my bed to my master bath, which took me like 5 minutes because I was in so much freaking pain. Pulled myself up onto the toilet, ended up breaking the toilet paper holder, and like just crying out of pain. Like, I could not get up. My husband was at work. My middle son was like 5 years old, and he had to come and pull me off the toilet. And I just was thinking, like, what is going on with me? Like, I literally the month previous, had just walked away from my full-time job to be a full-time coach. Like, this could not be happening to me, that I couldn't walk. And, you know, the doctors were telling me, like, there's nothing wrong with you. You have to go to physical therapy. But I knew in my body there was something off. The worst part about it was that I could not get up to get my daughter. Like, that terrified me, that I couldn't get into her room. And so after really advocating for myself, I found a doctor within that week who said I had all the overlying symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis. If you don't know what rheumatoid arthritis is, it's an autoimmune disease that attacks your joints. And with that also come, you know, it's joint stiffness. It can completely like deteriorate your joints and bones. Some people have crippled fingers. Like, it's really scary. Some people are in wheelchairs, but it also affects your levels of energy. And when I tell you that that's probably been the most significant change for me, is the level. Like, I remember when I wasn't tired, and having 3 kids, like, I'm freaking exhausted, and like, it's not even, I feel like it's the level of tired that I am is like having a newborn, and like came home from the most relaxing trip, and I was like, I need a nap because I'm so freaking tired. My right arm no longer fully extends. Like, that's as far as it goes, because there's permanent damage in it. And I got really depressed, and I got really angry. And in that time frame, I found myself drinking really heavily for about a year and a half afterwards. And I had shared with you guys that I had struggled with addiction. And when I came into this business, like, I was totally intrigued that there was party girls, you know. So drinking was like how I identified with myself. And it was like the mommy culture, like, grab a wine, stressed out, grab wine, like, hard day at work, grab wine. And through getting this diagnosis, I started drinking really, really heavily. My doctor informed me that the medication that I was taking, I could not drink with because it would damage my joints or my liver. The medication would help my joint stiffness, but like, I didn't care. I was still going to drink. It was kind of like when you're a kid and you get told not to do something, and then you do it just out of spite. So, September 16th of 2016, it was my husband's birthday, and we went wine tasting unexpectedly, and we took my daughter with us, who at the time was only a year old. And the tasting turned into 3 bottles of wine, and Melissa blacked out. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever struggled with alcoholism or know anyone who has, but a blackout, like, I could be talking to you like this and you probably wouldn't know it, because I'm not falling down drunk. I'm not like slurring my words. Like, I'm talking normally, but like, the lights are on, but no one's home. And that's what had been happening to me for years. For about a year leading up to this, I would wake up in the middle of the night, like crazy anxiety, just like crazy anxiety, and like Google symptoms of an alcoholic. My dad was an alcoholic. Alcoholism ran in my family. But I was not willing to be honest with myself with what was going on. And we went to the wine tasting, and then my husband ran into the grocery store because he didn't drink the 3 bottles of wine. He stuck to like the tasting. And apparently when he got out of the car, I followed him into the car and left my 1-year-old daughter in the car. And obviously don't know any of this in the midst of the blackout, but like, thank God nothing happened to her. But I woke up in the morning, or later on that evening, actually, came out of my blackout, and my husband's making dinner on his birthday. We're supposed to be this special, you know, treat. My husband's never been a heavy drinker. And his wife's blacked out in the room yet again, and he's cleaning up after the kids and taking care of everything. And there was a phone on his text message on his phone from my dad that said, she's an alcoholic and she needs help. And it spiraled me into this like freak out, and I drank everything in the house, and like cussing and yelling, and I have the most patient husband in the world. But like the next morning I woke up with that same shame that I've been carrying around for years. Like, how did I do this? Like, how did I like talk to my husband that way? How did I talk to my dad that way? Like, I blocked my dad on social media. It was crazy. Like, blocked my dad on social media, like told him how dare he judge me, like all these awful things. But the biggest thing was like, what if something happened to my daughter? Like, nothing happened, but what if somebody called the cops? What if she got out of her car seat and like put the car in, you know, like anything could have happened. What if somebody stole her? And the weight of that was so heavy on me that I was like, if I can't take care of my kids and drink like a normal person, like I can't drink at all. And so basically the reality of what I had been ignoring for so long had come to a head, and I had to make a change. And I knew that if I was going to stay sober, I knew it wasn't for me. It gave me it just wasn't for me. And so I posted on social media and I shared my story, and it was ugly and it was hard and it was so humiliating. And the outpouring of support and encouragement that I got was just overwhelming, because I had already been building my business for, you know, about 2 years. And so it was like I had this connection with these people, and it allowed me to become relatable. So not only were they relating to me through motherhood, relating to me, like I had a whole new audience with the chronic pain thing, because I never understood, you know, what an autoimmune disease was, because I was perfectly healthy before that. And now I was sharing my stories of addiction, and I hadn't shared a whole lot of my childhood and the trauma that I faced and the mistakes that I made and all those things. But now I speak so openly about it, and I know that I've been given this opportunity to be shared because other people need to hear it. And all the while, like Abby said, I still showed up for my business. I still kept showing up for this, because despite the hard days, like what I tell my team is like, if you have a bad day in life, like you're not going to call into your job and say, hey, sorry, boss, like I'm struggling with anxiety or depression today or chronic pain. Like, you still have to show up. And so I still kept showing up for my team, because I wanted them to see that no matter what you face, number one, you're not alone. Number two, if you ask for help, you're going to have support. And number three, you show up through the hard stuff. And you can go through any storm, and I promise you, like, there's going to be days where you want to lay down and like you just don't understand how you're going to get through it. But this business blesses us with some of the most incredible friends that we would have never known, who will literally lay down with us and help us carry the baggage that we're carrying around. And so I do share the hard, I share the good, I share the bad, I share the ugly, because I want people to know what's possible. And so I encourage you to take your mess and turn it into a message. The things that you think that you shouldn't be talking about on social media, or the things that make you feel really scared to do, like go out and talk about those things. Because I promise you, when you do, you're going to tap into people who need to hear your message, who need to know that they're not the only ones who have faced those struggles, who need to know that you don't eat perfect every single day, and that your marriage isn't perfect, and that sometimes you lose your temper on your kids, and that sometimes your car is a freaking mess, and that you've been wearing the same leggings for a week at a time. Like, people want to know the ugly parts of your life, because nobody needs perfect, right? Society has us trained that we have to have these perfect Instagram filters and photos. I actually just made a decision a week ago, but I'm not filtering my pictures anymore. Like, I'm not presetting them. I'm not doing those things. I'll brighten them a little bit in the organic settings, but like, it was like almost stressing me out to like have this perfection that I was never told I had to have, right? So maybe by society standards, but not by the one who's called me. So just really dig in and figure out who you are, because once you get very clear on who you are and you go out and you share your message with others, I promise you, your business will change. You will start connecting authentically and organically with your people. Like I build business with working moms because working moms are busy and busy people know how to get stuff done. Like that's my jam. I don't want to have to drag people. I don't want to have to convince people. I don't want to have to like convince people that they can do that. Or I mean, obviously it takes a little bit of convincing to people because I had to have belief in myself before I believed in myself. But I want to build this business with people who get excited about it and aren't like gonna go on vacation for a week and completely ghost out. Like this business is easy. It's very, very, very simple. If it's hard, it's because you're overcomplicating it. You have a tracker. You can help 3 people every single month, regardless of what's going on in your life. Like we just have people in our lives who have faced, or in this business, who have faced like the ultimate tragedies and still show up and hit Success Club and lead their teams and hit elite. Like my friend Monica Lopez and Veronica, they lost their baby sister. She unfortunately took her life and struggled with mental illness and addiction and all those things. Guys, they still showed up and both of them hit elite this year. I can name off so many leaders in this organization who have had really challenging seasons, but still showed up despite of it. And now they're using that story to help other people who have either gone through it or are going to go through it in the future. So don't let your like own brain try to convince you that you're unworthy or you're not good enough or that you're not perfect or you're not the right size or you don't have the most followers. I only have like less than 3,000 people on Instagram. Guess what? Still do business on Instagram. So I don't know, again, I don't know what you came to this call with. I don't know what story you're telling yourself every single month, but I hope that you hear in my story that your story can be rewritten at any time. And if you don't like where you're at right now, you have the tools and the power to transform that. And this business is a platform that can bless your life in ways that like you can't even imagine. If you listen to the National Wake Up Call this morning where Angie was talking about, you know, her first goal was to take her husband to Disney World, and now they just put down, they're going to start breaking ground on building a home inside the Disney World community. Like that's mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing. Like who builds a freaking home in the Disney World community at like 32 years old? Angie Bilmar, because of this business. So I don't know if there's anything else you want me to touch on, Abby, but again, I'm so freaking grateful to be able to talk to you guys and to speak my truth and to share it, because life's not easy, but we have a choice in the way that we show up and what we offer to this world. And this business is so much more than working out and, you know, drinking a shake and posting on social media. It's about people. And when you go out and you love on people and you impact people's lives and you help them out of their own crap, I promise you, your income and your accolades and your team and the successes that you will see will be a direct reflection because of the amount of lives that you impact. And when you start looking at people and helping them out of their own crap, like your business will transform. And I know that only because that's been mine. So I don't know if that helps.
Oh my gosh, Melissa, like, so I see the chat bar blowing up right now, and I just, like, every time I hear your story, because I got to hear it at leadership, and it just still, like, makes me tear up, because it's seriously so inspiring and so encouraging, and there were so many, like, soundbite nuggets that you dropped in there that were so good, so thank you. We have a couple minutes. I do want to honor her time, but do you guys have questions for her on anything, whether it's invites or sneak peeks or sharing your story or anything like that that has like popped in your head as she's talking on anything? I want to make sure to give you guys some space to ask those questions. You can feel free to mute yourself or just drop it in the chat bar too. If not, that's fine.
While you guys are thinking on that, I will tell you that my invite process is very simple. Like I talk to somebody the way that I would want to be talked to. And so an invite might just sound like this, like, hey, Abby, thanks so much for following on my journey. I'm not sure how much you've been watching, but I stumbled upon this business about 6 years ago and it's completely transformed my life. Have you ever thought about doing something like this? Like I keep it so dang simple Like, I don't use scripts. I just speak from my heart. And that's probably the best advice that I can offer you, is literally just, if there's something like that works for you, keep doing it. Because I found that if I was trying to go out and do, you know, something like Abby was doing, or Anita was doing, or Amanda was doing, like, it's not going to be me. And my people would know that, right? So when you can show up of yourself and just saying, like, I'm just getting started in this, but I'm so excited I can't keep this to myself. Or, dang it, I've been at this for 2 years and this is going to be my breakthrough year. I'm looking for busy moms who are excited about life, who are self-starters, who know how to juggle it all. Like, go out and define clearly who you want to work with. And I was saying, I said this on a call the other day, when people talk about avatars, that used to confuse the crap out of me. But when somebody said, just make a list of the qualities that you love about yourself or your hobbies, a list of, 10 to 15 things, and then go talk to those people, I was like, oh, I can do that, right? Like, I love to travel. I do. I love to travel. So I'm going to connect with other people who also equally love to travel, but maybe they don't have time to do those sorts of things. And when you're talking on social media, I don't know, mine are probably not perfectly polished. You guys can go check out my Instagram. You can go check out my Facebook. I share a lot more on Facebook, but it's not perfect. It's just real, and it's raw, and it's honest, and it's not I don't vomit Beachbody on everything. I love this company. I will always give me all the swag, brand, all those things. But people aren't joining me just because of Beachbody. They're joining me because of the products that we have, but they're joining me because they saw something in me that they want in themselves, right? And they may just get started for fitness, or to replace, a meal every day, or, to get collagen or something like that. But along the way, I can help them uncover maybe some hopes and dreams and desires that they have that maybe they haven't recognized or they haven't made time for, and giving people solutions. The other thing I should add to this, guys, is make your challengers your next coaches. Be so active in your challenge group that you're seeking out your next coaches. I always lead with the coach opportunity, because I think if I go to Kohl's or Macy's and the person behind the counter knows that they can give me 20% off, but they forget to mention, or they're uncomfortable talking about it because maybe it comes with, I have to sign up for something to get it, like their free membership, or, they offer a credit card, whatever. I'm going to be annoyed that they didn't offer me that if I'm talking to my friend that's like, oh yeah, I just went and I got 25% off. And I'm like, I didn't get 25% off, right? So don't keep other people's destinies trapped in your mouth just because it's uncomfortable to you. Go out and every single person, I just say, hey, I don't know if this would interest you, but because we're already getting you started and you have your year membership, I can also offer you 25% off all your future orders. And in the event you decide that you would like to maybe help your friends and family or build a business with this, you have that opportunity as well. Let's get you started with the coach discount. I'm going to send you all the things that I send to all my new coaches regardless. You can flip through it. If you have any questions, message me. And then I'm going to add you into my next sneak peek, or if I just finished a sneak peek, so you can watch the videos that we just did. And I do sneak peeks twice a month. Once is with my big, huge team, and then once is just with me. So maybe that helps a little bit too.
I was actually going to ask you what your recruiting strategy is.
I should also add,
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and the most coaches I've recruited is 13, and that kind of makes me a little crazy. So my sweet spot is 5 coaches a month. So, and what I tell my team is if you want to build this business, you should do no longer than, or you should settle for no less than 3 coaches a month. And don't discount coaches. Discount coaches help you build business. My top coach in my business, she was my first customer, my first coach, my first emerald, my first diamond, my first elite coach. She was a discount coach. She literally told me, if you ask me to sell this business, I will quit. So my sneak peeks range. Most of the time, I've transitioned just to one day. I'm actually next week going to do a happy hour, so it's going to be less than a day. but sometimes there'll be 2 days. And the first day I do coach stories. And then the second day I do, you know, what we do, how we earn, success club trips, all team culture, all those things. And I have an ongoing group. It's just a group. It's got a few hundred people in it, but I recycle that every single month, and I'll just delete some of the content and then re-add it back in. So, and every once in a while, I'll ask people from my team or sometimes clients to go live in there and share their story and how it's impacted them being a part of this team, or, you know, what their limiting beliefs were to get started, how it's added value to their lives, just so it's not always me.
I have 2 questions. My puppy's probably gonna bark in a second. Sorry, I'm asking all the questions. One is,
Sure.
we have, I know, a bunch of gals on this call that I know who are starting to push for diamond and like hit that first leadership thing. So any encouragement for them? And then second thing is, I know myself and a few other leaders on this team, you know, this was our first year hitting elite or second year hitting premier, and just kind of realizing, dang, you have to rebuild every year. Like, it's not just one and done. And so any advice for like the new up and coming leaders, and then those of us who are kind of hitting our stride, but yeah, just some advice of you. Sorry, I'm going to deal with the 2-year-old really quick myself.
Yeah, great question. Okay, so advice I got early on, and I didn't understand it until like Abby, like I hit my first year of elite, was the leaders that you have now are probably not going to be the leaders that you have next year. Every single year you have to rebuild your team. My first coach, she's still with me. She's one of my elite coaches. I have a couple of other diamonds who fall in and out of diamond. But I have to rebuild every single year. And so I would say actively stay in the recruiting mode, and don't let that defeat you. Like, do not take it personally when people quit or they drop diamond, all those things. I lead with friends first, business second, but again, my train is always moving, so I have to go. As far as diamond, I feel like diamond is really, really, really simple. It's 4 people on your left, 4 people on your right, your spouse, and maybe your best friend or your mom or your sister or your cousin, somebody close to you on your right. You can build those people. So you could literally build yourself to diamond by the end of the month if you had the courage to do so. So I think diamond is absolutely a decision, and making sure if you don't have your spouse signed up, you're doing yourself a disservice, because that's like money in the bank. But just the longevity of this business, I used to like always be like, oh my God, I got to do all these, like, oh, there's this new up and coming top 10 coach that's doing it this way. Oh, but this other top 10 coach does it this way. Or I was listening to the National Wake Up Call and they do it that way. Find what works for you and keep doing that. Tweak and like try new things. Like, obviously be coachable. Like, seriously, guys, you have to be leaders or learners, and you have to keep like learning always. But don't feel like every week or every month you have to change something just because it's working for someone else. I've tried things that don't work for me, right? People are like, Facebook's dead. I'm like, actually, it's not. Like, I love Facebook. They're like, Facebook's for old people. Cool. Well, I'm not 20 anymore. So I'm doing what works for me. If everyone's on TikTok and making, you know, energized dance parties, and that feels awkward and uncomfortable to you, don't do it. Go find your people, and just keep sharing this opportunity over and over and over again, because you're going to get to diamond. But you also have to have deadlines. Like right now, my rank has fallen, and we have a goal by the end of this week to lock in. So I'm like, hey guys, we all have to, you know, work together to get here. I'm not, you can't count on the same people all the time either. Like, if you have control of something, make sure you take control of it. If you haven't built your spouse, go out and build your spouse. Get to diamond and then get to 1-star so you can get to NLC. Like, that should be a non-negotiable. If you don't have a spouse, build your mom, build your sister, build your dad, like, do those things. Obviously, they have to know the knowledge about this, and include them in your goals. But seriously, like, it's just a decision that you make over and over and over. Like, leadership is a decision. Waking up and pressing play every day is a decision. Like, being a good mom sometimes is a decision. So you guys have the tools. I don't think that people aren't successful in this business for a lack of resources. I think it's a lack of resourcefulness. So stick to the tracker, like track your business, invite people, expand your network, do your personal development, get results, share your story. That's it. Hit Success Club. Like, do it over and over and over again. If you want to be an elite coach, the decision has to start right now. I mean, sometimes you get midway of the year and your corporate mentor reaches out to you. This is what happened to me. And they're like, hey, you have all your elite points. What'd you do? And I'm like, I don't know. Because I didn't understand elite back then. But then I figured it out, right? So now it's like I'm teaching my leaders how to hit an elite and premier. But you have to make a decision. And if you don't understand, I tell my team all the time, and I tell my kids, a closed mouth don't get fed. If you don't know what's going on, or you're not getting something that you're not asking for, like, we're not psychics. We don't know. You have to ask. So I hope that helps. I really, truly think that diamond is a decision, and that once you get that solid 8, 12 people, to become diamond strong, you have to keep recruiting. And then once you have, I don't know, like 14 people, 12, 14 people on between the divided legs, then switch over to one of those controlled accounts and start building that. And like, I don't know. I think you should always be encouraging your team to try all of our products. So if people are like, oh, I just didn't like the taste of Shakeology, well, you need to try a different way because it's really good for you and you should be drinking it and it tastes amazing, and like help them understand the benefits of it. But also, we have beach bars, right? Well, oh, I only need vegan. Guess what? We have vegan beach bars now. We have collagen. Stop buying the stuff that you're getting at Costco. Like, figure out what the needs are and fill that solution. We have things like gear. Instead of going to Target or Walmart and buying your yoga mats, like, buy them through us. It can keep you active. So I don't know. That was a lot. Sorry I blabbered, but I hope you understand that it's just a decision.
That was so good.
Hi.
Any last things that you guys have for Melissa before I let her go? Anything else? No? Everyone's like taking notes, I can tell. I've got a puppy here. Well, thank you. Seriously, I cannot thank you enough. That was like so encouraging for my heart to hear your story and just hear your advice and your tips. So I know our teams appreciate it. And I just thank you for taking the time tonight to talk with us, Melissa. So thank you.
Thank you,
everybody. And I'm sure if you guys have questions for follow-up, you can shoot them to myself or to your coach, and I'm just assuming Melissa, I can come shoot them your way. So.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, ladies. Awesome. Have a great night.
Bye, guys.